Welcome to video 2, which is the process, and we're going to talk about the concepts and processes that were learnt in class and how we adapted this to our issue for this major project.
Week 1. Week 1 was about what's great client service. The best student knows and understands their clients. Communication is very important. Knows the client's industry, for example, their competitors, someone who exceeds expectations, and someone who also doesn't lie. Week 1 also emphasized the importance of doing your research about your clients to understand them more and going above and beyond for them. These were very important to us in order to decide who the most fitting client was for our service and our product. We did a lot of market research and then came up with Woolies. Week 2 was a podcast by Jack Smith and John Dawson. They said every brief is somewhat different in its own way. Understanding technology is critical to marketing. It's part of the job. It shapes the media and it affects everyone. Technology can let you research a large scale of people. This made us more aware of the power of technology throughout our project. Also, a point that Jack and John made was the importance of narrowing it down on what you would like to achieve. This helped us focus on one point and filter what was not necessary in our project and focus on what was important.
This week's content was about managing projects. The main theme of this week was the planning process, and this has 4 phases. Number 1 involves planning, and this helped us to define our problem. Phase 2 is build up, and in this phase we held a kick-off meeting where we got to know each other. Implementation is phase 3. At this point in time for us, this meant holding meetings, and in the final stage is closeout. We were unable to perform this stage as it is to be conducted after project completion, and in this week the project was only in the build-up phase. We also learned about SMART objectives. These are specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, time-limited, and these helped in our project summary. This week was also about managing projects. We learnt about time, cost, and quality constraints, as well as risk management. We took time at the start of our meeting for the week to identify any potential risks, and the unanimous risk that was identified by all team members was availability. The deadlines shown in our WIPs helped us to ensure that even if someone was unable to attend either class or our meetings, that they were able to work in accordance to the deadline set to ensure that work was getting done. This, however, was difficult to achieve if a group member did not read the WIPs. This week looked at efficiency, mainly why we procrastinate and what can be done to counter and or minimise this procrastination. Disorganisation is a prime reason leading to procrastination, and it was therefore important for us to identify and allocate tasks early, and we did this by paying close attention to the work breakdown structure and ensuring all team members were up to date. This week taught us that identifying unpleasant consequences of not doing tasks on time is a great way to minimise procrastination, whereas breaking the project down into smaller tasks also minimises procrastination. I personally also found great pleasure in rewarding myself with a snack after completing a task. This week entailed managing difficult relationships. It helped to identify the types of people that we might come across and how we should act in their company. There was great emphasis on blending, which is about establishing rapport, and this can be done by showing empathy and really listening to the difficult person. There was also emphasis on redirecting, which involves changing the trajectory of your interactions. This helps the group to refocus and ensure that we're all working together to try and achieve our tasks, and this week also helped us all make a conscious effort to not be difficult people in a group setting.
So in week 7, we covered being proactive. So in the week 7 lecture modules, it was described as thinking and acting ahead of anticipated events. Within one of the readings, Carter Rim also described being proactive as working smarter and more efficiently, but he also described it as being able to take a step back and thinking about what you're doing. So this related with our tasks, so we had to make sure that what we were actually proposing was relevant to our client, in this case Woolworths, and if it was actually going to be efficient for them to be selling what we were proposing. So in the topic, we also covered Kaizen, which is a Japanese word for change for the good. So if what we were doing was going to improve our target issue, So in our case, it was water wastage and water usage. And if Woolworths were actually going to be able to sell our product. So infographics were also shared as a form of Kaizen, as a way to improve the way businesses display information and share information with their audiences. So this module really helped with us focusing on if what we were actually going to be sharing was going to be relevant, what we really needed to be able to share with our client. In other words, really not selling ice to Eskimo because it's not relevant information. So in reflection, being proactive in our approach was essential, and being able to apply Kaizen and focusing what was actually needed for the task and not bubbling around it.
Week 8 was all about conquering our fears. In this week, we did learn that many people have many unique fears in life, and that everybody has to prepare in order to overcome and conquer this fear. We learned that we have to turn this fear into courage in order for a positive and successful outcome. So according to our project, we feared that we would not be able to find the time to meet and be present at the same time because of our busy schedules. So it was a challenge in order to set up a meeting for everyone to attend at the same time and communicate about the project. However, we did overcome this by communicating via a group chat and creating a Google Doc where everybody could contribute to the assignment, and whenever anyone logged on, we could see the progress of our work. It involved a documentary called The Pitch, where two agencies competed against each other in order to present the best pitch towards a client. In this week's content, we also learnt about the 6 principles of making a good pitch, which include transparency, respect, bravery, communication and access, timing and working together, by which we included when doing our project. We created time, we communicated well via group chat and live meetings, and we all worked together and collaborated in order to present the best pitch for our clients. In week 11, we learnt about persuasive presentations. This included learning about some of the basics when presenting, such as strong voice, body language, coming prepared, such as not reading off palm cards, and we learnt that persuasive presentations do include emotion in order to persuade an audience of the topic and come across as a strong presenter and having a strong pitch. Nancy Duat explains that the model she developed for her designing transformative presentations, she explains the essential qualities of an excellent presentation by analysing speeches of Martin Luther King and Steve Jobs. We did apply this to our project by practicing our presentation and coming across as intriguing as possible in order to create the best pitch for our client. Being prepared and passionate about what you are pitching is the key for our success during this project. To wrap up, we did face many difficulties and challenges when doing this project, but each week's content did enhance our knowledge and help us communicate better and work better as a team in order to present the best pitch possible.